sitting down on the machine, and he looked so offended. I was like, no, you're the one breaking the rules, not me.
Make sure I got these rolling. Ooh, good thing I checked. All right, guys. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So, today I want to talk about something that's real near and dear to my heart, because I've been messing with this shit for quite a while. But we've talked about the role of proprioception and torque in the past. And proprioception, as Julien describes, it's really just inputs on your hands and feet, generally.
Pretty much.
Right? And but they relate to torque in a way that I understood, but I haven't had to live them as thoroughly as I have had to live them since maybe May.
And what they do once you exactly. Yeah.
And so, you don't know what you got until it's fucked up. And then you really
what happens when you fuck up your wrist, namely.
So I had the deal where I kind of think I fractured some shit in the hand when I had the bike accident. Y'all got to see that podcast. But but I trained around it, trained through it, trained where I didn't have pain, just so I could stay in shape, have something to do, whatever, right? All the reasons a guy trains, so I don't get small or weak.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was able to, after, 5-6 weeks, was able to didn't have any real pain in the hand anymore, and was able to go. But during that time, I don't know, stuff starts to get weird with the shoulder, stuff I never really have had to have before. And I've been piecing it together through just my own experience. It was been like really proving true the things that you've talked about. And that is, as far as proprioception goes, we go towards what the thumb and index finger side is going to be mostly towards internal torque,
and then
in pulling and pressing. And then the outside, what you would call the knife edge of the hand or whatever, is going to be towards external torque.
The fatty part, is external torque, because that's the one you can hit with. Yeah.
And the reason, of course, we teach, right on the new tattoo. The reason we teach those concepts, though, is because when you're trying to isolate something based on torque chains, it's a very good tool to, if you're going to push, trying to put the weight on the thumb side of the hand.
Fun stuff to try. Don't get too caught up.
Don't get married to it.
Yeah, don't get too caught up on that one. But it's a cool stuff to play with.
Try to find stuff. Try to warm up something that's not working well. Trying to do. It's a really, really useful tool, and you can. It's simple as to go to a pull-up bar, and if you try to pull from the pinky side, you're going to very much feel the outside of everything.
Versus the index, you'll see. Yeah, that's a great tool. Go to a lat pull-down machine. Go wide. Pull toward the pinky and pull toward the index, and you'll see that it's not the same movement.
Yeah. And so for me, I was back benching, and I've been able to get some heavy weights in my hands again without any pain on the hand. And it's been really good. But there was a lot of times where I would have pain in the hand from pressing, and I couldn't even push through the floor on the sled. Like I had nothing. It would just fuck it all the way.
Like the whole left side would collapse.
Yeah. And so, but now it was very interesting as that stuff starts going. I had the shoulder stuff, so I'm remedying the shoulder stuff where, again, intervening at the wrong point in the system. I'm trying to get the lat. So I'm let me get the lat, teres, let's get all this stuff down, get the pec back involved. When I did that, by that next evening, I had no pain benching that day. But I was like, I got this weird stuff
pain
around
in the wrist coming
again,
back.
Where I was like,
exactly.
So what I had done was worked around it, so there's no pain in the hand.
Right.
And as I get back to producing tension, I realized the wrist still isn't quite healed, which is okay, but it was a very, I don't know, just really cemented.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, just cemented it for me where I really understood how that works. And maybe we'll put a video of what that looks like so you can really see that. Maybe we'll film that tomorrow quick.
But I saw, in a weird way, I saw the same thing, which I forgot to do, but I fixed my my pull-ups on the left, so I have to put that video up. I did it, I never uploaded it. And at the time, I had the pain in the left forearm, which was painful, and then my shoulder was doing the weird, going up toward the trap kind of things. I fixed the entire shoulder, and very interestingly, now the right side is hurting. So now it's here, almost like a tennis elbow, that is giving you a problem for 2 weeks. Because I did not address the grip, I just looked at the shoulder only, not understanding that actually a lot of the, maybe not the cause, but a lot of the problems seem to also be a forearm thing. It's not a fascia thing, it's just the tension was not being built properly. The reason I didn't look at it in the first place is because I have such a strong grip. I was like, no, grip is never my problem. No, it was some imbalances that got created in my forearms from the different type of grip that we do. And So there's always a two-way street between the shoulder and the grip. But now it's on my right side, which I thought was interesting because that's always my weak side since I'm a lefty.
Yeah. And another great example too is we're talking at the end of the input as far as chain go, right? That's
exactly
the most important thing. Your body has a lot of, there's a lot of muscles, connections, all that stuff throughout your whole body. However, none of them are as critical as
precise.
Probably hands and feet. You need much more precision than that. My
hands
elbows don't need it.
Very sensitive.
Yeah, like none of this stuff needs the amount of dexterity, input, the ability to be. But with grip strength is very interesting. Is you ever know when your grip starts going, right? Say deadlifting, right? If your grip starts going to shit, you can probably still keep the bar moving up, and yet you lose power through your entire body.
Yeah, your legs can't.
Your legs
starts to go away.
It's such an interesting feeling, and I've been there before, and that's it's a really good reminder too to train your grip,
and
keep that tight. That's why they always say too that grip strength is a huge indicator of overall wellness.
And it's one of the worst feelings, by the way. Yeah. When your hands start to open and you can't resist,
you're like, oh my God, it's
horrible
so
feeling. Even on the pull-up bar or stuff like that, when the sun starts to go, it creates like some kind of a fear inside that is very hard to deal with. Yeah.
And with and then the other thing with the pop calf is I've been doing some work and just feeling
same idea, right?
When I had to compensate around it just for the pain for the few weeks it was a big issue, was you kind of walking a little on the outside of the edge, and what happens? Well, I'm only engaging kind of the external torque side, so you start getting this ache of overwork on the outside edge.
Goes toward the middle.
You start getting stuff on the glute med on the side above the hip, and it very much is the way that you interact with things proprioceptively is absolutely an indicator of where your
that doesn't mean you get to change the way you walk consciously and change the chain. Well, we're not saying it's just part of the equation is the proprioception. Like I don't walk on the outside of my feet, like my knees don't crack nearly as much or hurt nearly as much as they used to.
Yeah, proprioception. The concept with which we're tying it to torque is that it is a
part of it. Is a
not
part
necessarily a tool that you always need to manipulate.
You don't get to go and change proprioception now. Like like it's not a macro conversation. It's all that stuff.
And actually, here's a really good example of that. Is we talk. It's kind of similar with kind of what you had with the elbow is you were going upstream. You were looking at structurally, and what you really had was an entire issue.
Because this was an issue, obviously, because it's been around for a while. That might actually link to way more than just a torque chain. But what I'd not had looked at is how much all this was becoming an issue. You know, when I realized it, I was doing dumbbell curls with a fat grip, and so when my shoulder was like that, my wrist used to ache. Now it's my right wrist that aches, and that's the one that links to the weird stuff here. So there is some imbalance in my forms that got created over the last few years, I guess, and that I have to also address. It's not that it starts there. I'm just saying it has to be addressed as well. Grip work, but not just like doing deadlift. We're talking about like all the rotational stuff, one way, the other. Like a lot of this grip is, I think, fundamentally underrated as part of training.
I think with grip is extremely important. The other thing is with feet is your feet can collapse very often because of deficiencies in tension in the calf, hamstring,
hamstrings, glutes.
But also if your feet are structurally weak, you're then also going to just not have access to, because that's going to basically collapse and you're going to lose access. So you need to really work the whole thing, but to just say the feet are collapsing, it's hamstring, it's maybe not that simple.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we're going to introduce a dynamic warm-up for that we got from sprinting, not us sprinting, from sprinters. They're teaching us the dynamic workout right now, and man, my feet are getting pummeled by this, like the middle of the arch and everything. So I think we have cruelly missed a lot of that stuff since we don't do, like I don't box anymore, you don't do enough basketball and football enough to get all that stuff going. I think we have to incorporate in the warm-up some dynamic sprinting exercises,
bit of impact, coordination,
exactly, and then the explosiveness on the foot, because I lost a lot. I didn't have the bounce that I used to have when I was boxing often. So that needs to be put back in.
I was walking through the park the other day, and some guy comes. I think he was certainly was drunk, but he comes up to me. He was like, "Oh, big guy, we should box sometime. We'll make a bunch of money. Me and you, we'll set it up and we'll do the whole thing." And I kind of forgot that I have the thing. So I told him I tried to do the little like this, and I realized like
my calf.
The calf stuff.
Exactly.
But I was like, and I said,
Whoop, that hurts.
I told him, I said, I think I lost a little too much spring in my step to be boxing right now. But that's a thing. What was funny is before I ding this one up again, was that day we were doing things. It was actually the best. I'd finally come out of the other calf, so I was feeling good. And actually, and that's the thing, that as this feels better, it's a huge boost in confidence because when you do feel your ability to jump, to move, to change direction, like all that stuff feels
to
better.
be able to
like,
accelerate.
Oh, it's so refreshing.
Yes. Moving well is a really good feeling.
And it goes far beyond what squatting is. I think trying to train some athleticism, some quickness, some change.
We don't have enough of that. Yeah.
Just a little bit of that bounce. That's also a flow type of thing that I think is missing a lot in the way I train. Is I can train flow very much in kind of that springy type of the athletic, the moving basketball, that type of stuff.
I'll refer to.
You want me to flow running? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll refer to Greg Glassman on this. Remember when he said go play sports?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's been missing. Like we've done, because strongman is a sport, but that's not enough. I think go do some. We're in Holland. I'm gonna start to finally learn true kickboxing because it's the best place in the world. And at least one jiu-jitsu session a week. COVID kind of put a stop to all this.
Yeah, it also hampered my professional wrestling career.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's another podcast coming up. But like one session a week of kickboxing, one session of jiu-jitsu, like. Go play sports, because you know what sports have? Athleticism as a requirement, which and CrossFit does not.
And truly, there are outcomes that you have to learn to live with in the macro and the micro. It's not just win-loss. At the end of the day, there's so many inputs, wins, losses, like
and moving in awkward and fast, and
the amount of data that you can get from a pickup game of basketball physically. What that experience is a lot more than you're.
Bit of randomness too, by the way.
Because you have to react.
Yeah, exactly.
That's to quote the great Kenny Powers. I play real sports, not trying to be the best at exercising.
Yeah, that is true.
So. Any other notes on proprioception? I just wanted to bring in kind of that loop, and it's been an interesting.
It's a good one.
Play with it. If you have, one of the things for me is that I had learned that I need to work the bicep, inside bicep. I can feel as I'm doing stuff with this wrist that that's missing.
No, it does bring something. Whenever you train arms or biceps or triceps, go buy those fat grip thing, the blue ones. Put them on the dumbbells or put them even on the bar when you do tricep extension, and it's not the same tension. So because close grip and open grip are two different things. I think a good point out of all this on top of proprioception is train the grip, but train open hand, close grip, open grip, finger strength, palm, farmer's walk carries, holds,
because your
rotation, wrists.
Your hands and feet are your access point to how you manipulate the world around you. That is it. So train them.
Like I remember on sandbag carries,
spring in your step.
And that too, the hand grip. I remember on letting go on sandbag carries because my hands were cramping so badly from squeezing. It affects you in
I'm also,
more than you think.
But grip has always been, I've always been good at grips because I have enormous hands, but you'll notice I use almost no chalk when I train. Very rarely. You guys chalk up like crazy. I almost don't use any, only because if it's a little greasy, I just gotta squeeze harder. Now the difference is I got the meat to make it work. Plus, some people have small hands though.
With your job for 12 years, actually use your hands. So that gives you a strong grip. But you know what I've lost too is a lot of finger strength, I've realized. Like hanging from like this, because in jiu-jitsu, with the gi. You're like this all the time. Like no gi, I was always good here, but this at first in jiu-jitsu was killing me. I haven't done pure finger strength training since I stopped jiu-jitsu like 6 years ago. So I think I'm lacking a lot of this, and that has really impacted the forearm all the way to the shoulder. So it'll be good.
Train the hands and feet, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. See you next week. Support the podcast. Head on over to podcast.strongfit.com. There you could donate or join the YouTube channel. Also, go to strongfit.com. There you're going to find our online courses, education, and all of our seminar dates should be there as well. Head on over to strongfitlibrary.com to keep up to date on everything Julien's been working on. And follow StrongFit1 on Instagram and Tyler F. and Stone.